Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Podcast. I'm your host, Shauna Nairos, and did you know March is Kidney Health Awareness Month? What does it actually mean to live with kidney disease, and how can organ donation change someone's life? Most of us don't think about our kidneys until something goes wrong. Today, I'm joined by Patrick Ng, a local investment advisor and dear friend of the KGH Foundation, to talk about kidney transplant, community, and why this conversation matters more than many of us realize. You're going to want to listen up. Today's episode comes during Kidney Health Awareness Month, which is March, a time to raise awareness about kidney disease, organ donation, and the life-changing impact of transplant medicine. Today, I'm joined by a very special friend to the KGH Foundation. Patrick Ng is an investment advisor with RBC Dominion Securities. He's a kidney transplant recipient and advocate. He's a former director, although I am still in denial. I still think he should be a director for life for the KGH Foundation Board. He's a former chair of the Philanthropy and Engagement Committee. Patrick is a donor and advocate for the KGH Foundation and Kidney Foundation of BC and Yukon. He is a director on the board for the YMCA and president of Third Space. Holy cow. Patrick, is there anything that you cannot do? Welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you today. So just to give a little bit of context to this conversation, 1 in 10 Canadians live with kidney disease, and over 4 million Canadians are affected. 3,000 Canadians are currently waiting for a kidney transplant, and kidneys are the most commonly transplanted organ in Canada. A successful transplant can increase life expectancy and dramatically improve quality of life compared to long-term dialysis. Living donation accounts for a significant percentage of kidney transplants. And for many patients, like Patrick, a transplant can mean the difference between years on dialysis and a return to a fuller, healthier life. Patrick brings both a personal and community perspective to this conversation. He is a wealth of knowledge. Patrick, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Shauna. I am equally excited to be back in the KGH Foundation offices. And I've been a big fan of the podcast since prior to us even planning it. And I'm just honored to be invited today. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I feel like this boardroom is kind of like second home for you. You've spent many, many hours in here. And we are truly grateful for all of the support and the guidance that you actually have provided to our organization over the years from a leadership and board perspective. It's been Thank you. Such a joy. Also, you're a huge fan. You can always guarantee that when we post something on social media, Patrick is one of the first people to share it, which I love so much. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So I want to start with something that only you can tell, which is your story. So what first brought kidney health and transplantation into your life?
That's a great question. And it's a very simple answer. Like most people, I just started to feel really unwell. And by the time I was fully accepting and fully diagnosed with CKD, or more commonly known as chronic kidney disease, I was at probably the latest stages a person could be before making some tough decisions on treatments and a transplant. So don't do what I did, people.
Don't wait. So how old were you when you, if you look back, how old were you when you started to notice symptoms?
Funny you should mention that. Things in my life happen per decade. So when I turned 40, I started to feel a little unwell. Yeah. And to the extent where actually I noticed what was going on in my body. And then from that point on, I started to seek personal physicians, get some insights on it, but nothing was cohesively causing any major concern. About a year after that, so things started for me probably about 2015. Okay. And when I first started to feel a little off. And I can't explain it any better than that. I wasn't fully showing physical bad symptoms at the time, but I was feeling more fatigued than normal. I wasn't sleeping very well. And those are very common symptoms of chronic kidney disease.
Early
stage, yes. Even worse than early stage. it's a silent killer, basically. So until you reach a point where your body or one of your kidneys is completely not functioning, or the second one is functioning at a very low percentage, the body doesn't show a lot of symptoms. A lot of it's internal. And the work of the kidney is 100% internal. So by the time they're not working properly, or you have one versus two working at 100%, is either too late and people have to make some pretty tough decisions. And the acceptance of that lifestyle at that last stage can be very difficult for most people to deal with.
It's very abrupt, I would think. Like you go from being, okay, I'm just like a normal guy to this is a very, very serious disease.
Yes.
And the treatment options are no joke. So like when you look back at that time, you sort of alluded to it a little bit, but when you look back at that time where, you know, you've noticed symptoms, you're starting to ask some questions and maybe seek some help from the medical system. Like, what were some of the most difficult moments you experienced on that journey to kind of like full diagnosis?
That's a great question as well. And there's two parts to that answer, but I'll focus on the first part because the latter part comes in later in our conversation. But early on, the toughest decisions were acceptance.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life where I was fully not feeling well. And even my colleagues and friends and family were noticing I was not doing well. And I was either in denial or I thought I'm just not sleeping well, I'm not eating well.
Like it's not that big a deal.
I can do better. Exactly. I learned very quickly that was the wrong way of handling it. And your body tells you things when you need to. And if you disregard those warnings, you're going to pay the price. And so when I first started showing physical symptoms, it got really stressed out, very stressful for me. And I got very scared. So the biggest challenge is the fear, the fear of, how could this happen to me? My family has no history in this whatsoever. It came out of complete nowhere. And why? Secondly, the other thing is, well, now that I've been diagnosed and the doctors and nephrologists have told me my situation and how serious it is, you need to start making changes in your life. Or in my case, you have to start making preparations and tough decisions on the inevitability of you having to get a transplant. But until then, you need to get treatments to sustain your well-being and livelihood.
Yeah.
And that can be very difficult depending on every person's lifestyle. Fortunately for me, based on my career and what I do, I was able to find the time to balance my lifestyle and give myself enough time to figure out what was the best course of action for me. And if I need to take time off or get treatments or do things like that, I was a little more flexible versus most people cannot have that opportunity to do that. And so it really impacts your life in so many ways early on. And of course, in the worst case scenario too.
Totally. And a spoiler alert, I already gave it away in the intro, but you did eventually successfully have a kidney transplant. What is that? Like, what was that process from like diagnosis to transplant? Like, what did that look like?
So for my particular situation, you know, by the time I was fully diagnosed and the nephrologist and KGH were like, okay, Patrick, well, we wish we would have done this earlier, but now the reality is we are stage 4, stage 5 of CKD, which is the worst case scenario. We need to start preparing for treatments. We need to understand your lifestyle changes, and we need to make a decision how you want to proceed. The end goal is always to get a transplant. However, there's no current cure for kidney disease.
Right. Okay.
So there's lots of processes you can take to improve your lifestyle, improve your well-being. But at the end of the day, even if I got a transplant, I have to change my life entirely around to supporting that kidney, diet, exercise, lifestyle, balancing your life more.
Yeah, no, like reducing stress.
Everything.
Sleep.
It's a game changer entirely.
Yeah.
Especially if you've lost 2 kidneys and you've been given the gift of one that successfully transplants over to you with no rejection.
Yeah.
It's tough to say, but it's like the most important thing in your life.
Totally.
Because you've been given a second chance at something that you maybe took for granted previously.
Okay, so, and I can sense the emotion in your voice when you say that, because you're not overstating it. Like it truly, like you would have died. Yeah.
I can tell you one quick story. So my nephrologist at the time who walked me through the process and has since retired, his name was Dr. Edward Welsh. And Dr. Edward Welsh was an amazing human being. And he read me accurately the first couple times I met with him. He knew this guy was young, He's a business guy. He doesn't have time for his health. He'll be back, right? So the first time he told me, you're dealing with this, you need to make some decisions. I'm like, I can't do that. I'm going to a wedding in LA. I got client meetings all over the province.
I'm too busy for kidney
And he
disease.
literally said to me, are you kidding me? Right? So fault on my part. Edward Welch was very knowledgeable. He educated me throughout the process. And then by the time I had to make a tough decision at stage 4 or 5, he basically presented me with 2 blood tests in his office. You take a look at those. One was completely horrible. One was not great. The completely horrible one was mine. The one that was not great was a 98-year-old woman in KGH who was dealing with multiple health issues and most likely going to pass away. He says, you're worse than her.
Wow.
And you need to take this seriously and make some tough decisions. And I'm here to help you with that if you're ready.
Was that like the moment you went, oh, wow. Okay. Because you're a data guy. You're a numbers guy. I mean, you work in investments.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I use more explicatives in my head at the time.
Right.
That I would never say on this podcast. But the impact was just as great. And it really shook me to the core and made me realize I've been focusing on the wrong priorities in life and I need to make a change right away.
Yeah. So did you go to like the kidney store and be like, ooh, I want that one? Or like I know.
I wish it was that easy, Shauna. I do.
I'm being intentionally ignorant. But like I actually feel like we don't know a ton. Like we talk about organ transplants, kidney transplants, but we don't really. So like how does that work?
Well, I'm glad you touched on that because the lack of information and resources, especially for me back in 2015 and 2016 and 2017 and 18, outside the Kidney Foundation, you know, like most of us, we go online and research everything we can. And I found very little credible resources online that was not American or international based. So the Kidney Foundation was the only resource I could find relevant information because as a Canadian in the healthcare system, you want to know what we're doing about it and what our options are. There's no kidney store, unfortunately. If it was that easy, I would have loved to. There's a couple different complications for that. So in Canada, if you want to go overseas or the States and pay to get a kidney transplant or surgery, you're more than welcome to do so. The problem is, if you get it done overseas, Health Canada and our healthcare system won't cover you for follow-up treatments, medication. You have no coverage, no support. Because the quality's been done overseas and not in Canadian standards. So that's one thing most people don't understand. So being in Canada, you want to stay within the Canadian healthcare system. The way it works in Canada is there's no kidney store, unfortunately, but there's either donors who can donate a kidney as a live donation, or you get a kidney from someone who's deceased. But the problem with the latter is you don't get much of a choice on the quality of the kidney, the age of the kidney, and the donor. For me, at the time when I got my transplant, I was about maybe 44, I think I was, 44 or so. And at the time, you know, I had to get healthy enough through dialysis to be able to qualify for a transplant first. Because once you get healthy enough and your body's managing life with the kidney disease, you're getting dialysis 3 times a week, your blood, everything's proper, then you can deal with the transplant process. Because it's very difficult.
Very difficult.
And a lot of people don't get transplants for various health reasons and they're able to get up to par.
Because they never can get to that state where they could tolerate.
Or they're too old. And then that's the worst part about it is because organ failure is more prominent with seniors. And when I was dialyzing, there's a good handful of seniors in there we're most likely not going to get a transplant. And so it's a matter of way of life. It's life-sustaining therapy for them versus they try to prioritize younger individuals so they get a better chance at a normal life as much as they can. And so I kind of fell within that younger group, and it was completely luck of the draw for me as well too. I campaigned for a living donor, but campaigning for a living donor.
What does that mean? Like, were you like, hey, anybody I know want to give me a kidney?
Well, I'm not that subtle, but I like to do it more on a more personal conversational basis when people, I educate people, here's what I'm going through. And I raise the awareness, and the people want to learn more about it, ask me questions, or can I be a good match? And a lot of people did, and a lot of people tried. And the process is you have to apply for it, send your blood, do some blood testing to see if you qualify for it. And half the time, most people don't qualify for it. So that process itself is complicated, but they've transitioned how you can get a kidney in Canada now. So if you have, for example, you want to donate a kidney to me, and we're not the same blood type, right? So it wouldn't match perfectly and our body would reject it. If somebody else in Canada needs a kidney and matches your blood type.
Yeah.
And we have the kidney transfer program where they can get your kidney. And if I find one out east that matches me, they can qualify to give it to me outside.
I see.
So there's always a benefit to donating organs.
Yeah.
If you're not the right match for the person you care about, somebody else may be, and you can qualify to get the transfer done across the country or next province over. Amazing. If it's a good match that way.
So do you know your donor?
So they keep that kind of private.
Yeah.
For the privacy. And I never met my donor. I knew of the individual.
Okay.
He was close to my age. He had unfortunately faced a health emergency. And he was basically in VGH at the time. And his outlook was very negative. And he was an organ donor, a registered organ donor. He's originally from the UK, moved to Canada. And his family came over. And then when they finally had their chance to make the decision with him, then I got the call from St. Paul's saying, we have a viable donor, same blood type, same age. Can you fly down in the next couple hours?
Oh, wow.
That's how quick it was.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it in the next couple hours, but I booked the next flight next morning. Right? Wow. And the person gave me his kidney and it saved my life. And his other organs went to many other people in St. Paul's. And I heard he saved like 4 other people as well.
What a, I can't even imagine what it would be like to lose a loved one, but maybe to know that there's 5 other people in the world that are alive because of that, the gift of organ donation.
Yep.
I mean, it's never going to take away the sting of the loss, but it's a beautiful gift that is, you can't put a value on that, you know? Yeah.
And then they allow you to write a letter to the family.
Oh, amazing.
To thank them. Because obviously when you receive an organ and you're giving a second chance at life, you feel obligated to want to thank somebody.
Yeah.
So I wrote a letter to the family.
Like you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not want to thank them?
Yeah.
They lost their son so you could live.
Yeah.
So I wrote a letter to them, very sincere, thanking them, recognizing their son's sacrifice and being an organ donor. And they really appreciated it. And they live in the UK, and it's just one of the things you want to do.
Yeah, I love that. So did you get 2 kidneys? Do you have, so do you have one of your old ones and a new one? Or did you have like, I don't know how this works.
This is the most common question I get.
Okay.
So as of right now, I think both my kidneys are not working. But they don't replace them. They just give you another one. So I actually have 3 kidneys in my body.
Oh, so they didn't take the other one out?
They used to take them out, but that procedure was so invasive, and they'd cut your chest and your back. You have big scars everywhere, which led to infection and complications.
Yeah.
So they just leave the ones that are not functioning in the body. So there's less risk of infection or problems with internally, and they just install a new one.
So they're just not working. It's not like they're doing damage.
They're not working.
But they're doing damage by not working.
But the risk of removing them can cause internal issues.
Yeah.
So, and healing and infections and stuff.
So your superpower is that you have 3 kidneys.
I have a 3rd kidney that he implanted in my right hip bone.
No kidding.
So it's right underneath my hip bone, which is protecting it. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that is pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of cool things about you, Patrick, but I didn't know that all the kidneys are still intact.
Yeah.
So like many people don't think about their kidneys until something goes wrong, or I don't know, for me, like every time I go to the acupuncturist, he's always like, kidneys. I don't know what that means, but it makes me think about them. I'm like, what does that mean? I'll ask him to come and translate that for me one day. But like, do you know how you got it?
That's a great question as well. You're nailing this today, by the way.
Well, hey, you know what? I want to be Oprah when I grow up.
You know, there's 2 main causes for kidney disease. And the first one, obviously, the most prominent explanation is high blood pressure.
Oh.
So high blood pressure has been known to affect organs in the body.
It causes kidney disease.
It deteriorates organs. Yes. High blood pressure is not good for organs and most organs in the body. But it's also a chicken or the egg scenario. The other main factor is diabetes.
Okay.
So I didn't have diabetes. I don't have diabetes now. So that kind of ruled that out.
Okay.
My sister has diabetes, but I don't have it.
Yeah.
Nobody in my family has extensive high blood pressure. So I was also confused by that. But at the very end of my diagnosis, you know, my blood pressure was super hypertensive. And we're talking like 180 over 120.
Okay. Did you have high blood pressure? Like, did you know you had high blood pressure
So
before?
that's another area where I maybe wasn't focusing on that in the younger years of my life. And it could have been gradually increasing, but I wasn't checking my blood pressure in the 20s and 30s because I thought it was invincible and I was just too busy.
Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
it could have been happening slowly over a longer period of time because you don't just lose 2 kidneys like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of ownership on my part here.
Yeah.
But this is why I tell my story.
Know. Yeah.
So to let people be aware that don't make the same mistakes I did, there's a lot better early detection capabilities now. There's information on the internet now. We've created opportunities for people to find resources now since my transplant as well. So the goal is to raise awareness so people don't fall into these traps again as well for other people.
Well, and I heard you chatting with one of our colleagues in the office who has a loved one that has recently experienced high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. And you were like, don't sleep on that. Like that. And I didn't know that actually until I overheard you chatting about it. I did not know that was a huge red flag. I mean, obviously high blood pressure is a red flag, but I didn't know it was a huge red flag for kidney disease.
It is. The high blood pressure one in particular is probably the most common.
Yeah.
But the high blood pressure literally slowly damages the little filters in your kidney.
Yeah.
And then once your kidneys start to fail, you can live on one kidney as I'm proving now. Mm-hmm. But once a second one is facing pressure, then your body is deteriorating. So the work of the kidneys is to filter your blood.
Yeah.
All the good nutrition we take and all the protein, all the carbs, all the phosphorus, potassium, whatever, they're normal, healthy diet. But if you have one kidney working at 20% or 15%, you're not filtering everything out of your blood and you're not cleaning your body. Mm-hmm. The primary purpose of the kidneys is to help filter your blood so you're urinating out the toxins and your body's getting rid of stuff to stay healthy. So imagine if one kidney is doing 12% of the work.
Totally.
Your body gets toxic.
Yeah.
So I began to feel sick because my blood was toxic.
Wow.
Wasn't clean. Then you start to retain water. You swelling up. You retain water because your kidney's not flushing waters out anymore. Water puts pressure on your heart, which causes high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. So the blood pressure causes it. Kidney disease makes the high blood pressure even worse as well.
I see. Huh. And as you said, it's not like a hereditary thing. Maybe high blood pressure is a hereditary thing, but not necessarily kidney disease.
Yeah.
So it's really, the response. Yeah, we talk about this on the podcast all the time. Mm-hmm. And this is why I love the opportunity to have these conversations, because when you know more, you can do better. You can't blame yourself for not knowing. You didn't know. You're a 40-year-old guy who would think that this would be even a possibility. I'm sure there are people listening to this podcast right now that would never have thought, oh, this is a possibility. Yeah. Right. I think we think of like kidney disease. I also know somebody I used to work with. Her husband had kidney disease and a transplant a long, long time ago. He was one of the first recipients of a kidney transplant in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just surprised that it affects young people.
Oh, yeah. I've met individuals during transplant, post-transplant, through kidney walks and through the Kidney Foundation. There's teenagers who've had 2 transplants already.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know one individual in particular, a good friend of mine's daughter, she's had at least a transplant or 2, and she's living with kidney disease way before I turned 40. Her whole life has been a kidney patient.
Wow. Okay.
Which is humbling to think about.
It really is. What happens if you need another one? Are they just going to, do you just get another one?
You can.
Okay.
I mean, so the weather's unseasonably warm in Kelowna, as most of us know. So I'm wearing a short sleeve polo shirt, but I did it on purpose because I wanted to show my arm.
Okay.
And you can all see my arm. It looks...
Yeah.
So I call this arm Bruce.
Bruce.
After a famous Marvel character who gets really angry and grows really big. So this arm looks the way it does because of my dialysis treatments.
Really?
Yeah. So this is all scar tissue from the main arteries.
This all happened before you had your kidney transplant?
Yeah. I did dialyze for about 2 or 3 years.
Is this normal?
It's very normal.
Does everybody have a Bruce that gets dialysis?
It depends. If you choose hemodialysis, which means you're basically filtering the blood directly through a machine that filters the blood, you have to get a procedure called a fistula. Yeah. So one of my first things I did after I had my emergency dialysis done, where they put a tube on my chest and suck my blood out emergency and clean it. This is the normal way of doing it for hemodialysis. This is the life-saving therapy.
Wow.
They have to procedure here called the fistula, where they basically combine and increase the blood flow of the arteries in your arm.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach over and put your wrist right here, you can feel how much pressure is in my arm right now. It's buzzing.
Why?
Because they want to increase.
It's buzzing. Like it actually feels like a phone like buzzing.
They increase the blood flow, so when the machines are sucking the blood out and pushing it back in, it helps speed it up.
Wow.
And so these are all scar tissue. These are entry points of needles I've had.
Yeah.
3 times a week. One going in, one going out. And it increases the artery. It gets bigger because the blood flow is so big, but they want it to be more efficient.
Why does it feel like...
Because they've increased the flow in this arm to supplement the
sorry,
speed.
my brain's stuck. Like, that is just amazing.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since you've had dialysis?
Since April 2019.
Okay, so that will stay forevermore.
We usually keep it just in case.
Yeah, okay.
So if something happens to my kidney and it starts to deteriorate again and I need dialysis, at least this is still a viable option to get treatments right away.
And it's scar tissue.
It's scar tissue, yeah.
Yeah, wow, Patrick. I mean, I've seen it before. I never really, I just thought it was probably a complication related to your diagnosis. I don't know. I mean,
of course.
So again, back to my question, because I got very distracted there for a sec.
Sorry.
No, that's so interesting that you shared that. I wish everybody could feel that. That is crazy. Mm-hmm. So again, because I want to talk about what treatment looks like for someone who doesn't receive a kidney. Does everyone with kidney disease eventually need a transplant?
Yes.
Okay. And so to bridge between when the transplant happens, or if you're not a candidate because of the health situation, you have like you said, you have to sort of be at a certain level of health in order for them to do the transplant.
Yep.
So if while you're waiting, or if you're not a candidate, what does dialysis look like? What you mentioned, sort of 3 days a week and all of this, but can you take us through what that's like for somebody?
So to do it justice, there's actually 2 different forms of dialysis. One that I chose to do, which is hemodialysis, which literally means cleaning of the blood.
Yeah.
The other one is peritoneal dialysis. And that one, so the whole idea of dialysis is to filter the blood, to clean your body out.
It's the vacuum cleaner.
Typically, the best way to clean your body and filter it without the most impact on your body overall is to do it as slow as possible.
Okay. And
for a longer period of time. The problem is, in our busy daily lives, most people don't have 8 hours to sit there and clean your blood.
Because you have to go to a dialysis clinic.
You can. I chose to go to KGH to do it for my personal reasons, but they're really encouraging people to do dialysis at home now.
Oh. Because
we only have so many beds or chairs in our healthcare system.
Yes.
And we have they do 2 or 3 sittings a day.
Wow.
3 times a week.
Yeah.
So every day, I used to go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 3 to 5 hours a time.
Yeah, because it takes, as you were saying.
Exactly.
Takes a long time.
So hemodialysis is the one option. Peritoneal basically involves people having to have a tube inserted in their stomach. And between the stomach lining and the stomach, there's a certain area that can pump it fluid.
Yeah.
And the fluid pulls out the bad nutrients and everything out of your system, and that flushes it out. You can do that overnight at home when you're sleeping.
Okay.
Over an 8-hour period. You can also do dialysis at home, hemodialysis, and then they'll actually even pay for the upgrades and get your system set up to do it at home now as well.
Yeah, which is
so the problem
cool.
with that though is I didn't have a partner or a spouse at the time to help me with all this stress at home.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have their wives or partners or friends helping them out, which makes it easier, but it also puts pressure on the caretakers.
Yeah.
Because it's not an easy process regardless if you do it at home or not.
No. And so that's 3 times a week.
3 times a week. At the most, at my worst case, I was doing it for 15 hours a week. Oh. So 5 hours for 3 times a week after work.
Wow.
I check in around 5:30 across the hall.
Yep.
And do it until about 10:30, and then go home and go to bed and get up at 5 in the morning and go to work again the next day.
And how long did you do that for?
Almost 2.5 years, close to 3 years.
So when you're talking about, circling back to the beginning of our conversation and just the denial and the hard conversations and these are the things, these are the options that are now being laid out in front of you, which I can only imagine for a young man, 40 years old, in the prime of your career, now you're facing 15 hours a week of dialysis, which is literally sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
How did that, like, let's circle back to that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's fear, but then what else? You know?
Well, I gave myself enough time to be scared.
Yeah.
The one piece of advice for people is it's going to be tough to take. It's going to be a lot to take in. Big decisions have to be made, but give yourself space to be scared as long as you need to.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you're done being scared, you can make logical decisions and make what was best for you.
Yeah.
I gave myself that time to figure it out.
Right.
And I chose my path. Understanding 12 to 15 hours a week was mandatory, but based on my schedule and how I was able to, my life was allowing me to do that, it worked out well for me. It doesn't work for a lot of people, right? Especially if you're older or you can't have flexibility in your career or family or work.
Yeah.
Maybe home services might be a better option.
Yeah.
But I chose to keep it at the hospital. I had lack of knowledge. I didn't want to do it myself at home just in case something goes wrong. But it also afforded me, the best part is I got to be a patient in KGH for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
And so I experienced all the great things of our hospital and all the negative things in our hospital, but it opened my eyes to what's really happening in healthcare here. And I got to meet the doctors, you meet the staff, you get to know them 3 times a week. It's the same people. We became a family.
Yeah.
And so it was an enjoyable experience at some point for me.
Yeah.
And you get to meet other patients who are going through what you go through, because kidney disease is a very isolating disease. It's a very private thing. You don't go and talk about it unless you're like me, when you have a reason you want to, but you're just trying to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's I learned a lot from this process, and which kind of motivated me once I was healthy enough to join the board of KGH, even when I was still dialyzing, because I saw the impact of healthcare and I know we need to do better.
Yeah.
So I wanted to help while I was dialyzing, and that's just how I deal with things. I'd rather start having impact now while I'm going through it. It gives me that peace of mind and the balance that I'm doing something on top of just sitting here 15 hours a week. And you and I both know people. One of my great friends at around the same time was going through some major health concerns that she was diagnosed with. And she and I at the same time both pursued our avenue of philanthropy and being involved in what causing our health issues. And that was Shannon Gull. Yeah. Shannon and I did it at the same time together, everything together that way. And she was my support, and I supported her as well. So,
yeah, and I love. We'll give Shannon a minute here, because Shannon Gall was a very, very well-known individual in our community. She was very active in community. She was very active philanthropically. She was diagnosed with, she was what they call a never smoker, diagnosed with a very serious lung cancer. And she turned that diagnosis, which eventually did take her life a couple of years ago. But she lived for, golly, a lot longer than she was supposed to. 8 years or something like that with that diagnosis. And during that time, she and her husband, Clayton Gall, became fierce advocates for new technologies in lung cancer research and treatment. So Shannon's legacy is significant in terms of cancer care. And I think that's the point that you're making, is that when these things happen, and I certainly know from my own experience, which is not even comparable to what the two of you have had to navigate, but when you don't know why there's always stats, in my case, breast cancer is like 1 in 8, what is yours for
1 in 10?
1 in 10. It's like, why me?
Yep.
Why am I the one? Not that I want it to be any of my friends or anything like that, but I would always be like, I don't understand, like, especially when you don't have. Shannon was a never smoker. There was no reason for you, young, healthy 40-year-old man, or me, 44 years old yoga teacher, for crying out loud. Why do we get these things?
And you're absolutely right. And how we want to deal with it is, now that we know what we know, to help other people avoid it. And that's what kind of drove me to take that kidney stance and be more of a proponent of awareness in our community, because I don't know my outcome. Who knows what's going to happen to me 5, 10, 20 years from now still. Right. There's still an opportunity my kidney may fail because I still have kidney disease. I'll never not have kidney disease. But for the time being, while I'm healthy and alive and able to have an impact in this situation, I'll do my best to raise awareness and educate people that don't go through what I went through or other people go through. And that's what Shannon believed as well, too.
Totally. And just so we can be super clear, what's the difference between, for you, the kidney transplant and life before the transplant?
1,000% difference.
Yeah.
When you're going through dialysis and living with it, at the worst part, not knowing if you're going to get a transplant, the toughest part is adapting your lifestyle. So I could barely eat anything I like to eat. I could barely drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
So everyone knows drinking water is healthy for you. Eating healthy is healthy for you. There was healthy foods I couldn't even eat.
Yeah.
So it's a complete, you can't live this way after 40 years of being told you're supposed to live this way.
Yeah.
And then having to do that and not having the energy, because dialysis is a very difficult process in your body.
Yeah.
If you have a good dialysis run, you may feel great. If you have a bad one, you feel like you ran the marathon and you're cramping and you could pass out, your blood pressure can drop, and it can be very scary. But it's very draining on individuals as well, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, I don't know. I mean, you seem to have lots of energy. You're a smart guy. I want to talk a little bit more about your advocacy work, because I think one thing that the transplant has enabled you to do is have, like you said, another crack at it. And now you've really made a very intentional commitment to advocacy. Tell me about your work with the Kidney Foundation of Canada.
Well, I appreciate that one. So the Kidney Foundation has been really great to work with. If you ask them, I came out of nowhere and said, hey, I want to learn more about you and how can I help?
Yeah.
And they were like completely surprised, because the Kidney Foundation in BC is located in Burnaby. So they don't have a big physical office presence in the central interior, but there are, in each community, there are advocates working their best they can. Yeah. And we try to do the kidney walks every year as well in Kelowna and Vernon, Penticton, vice versa. But I reach out to them. Okay, I have kidney disease. I understand what's going on. I want to be an advocate and help out. What can I do? And they're really receptive to that. And to have somebody going through that whole process the entire time while still trying to engage with them and helping raise awareness was something they probably never experienced, really. And it was a great opportunity to work with them. I learned a lot.
Yes.
But more importantly, after the transplant, I was given an opportunity to work with them on how we can do better, which was kind of the seeds I was planting throughout. And so after we had a chance to get my transplant, we said, well, what can we do better? What worked, what didn't, what do we need? What are we missing? They asked a few select people in the province to be part of this panel to help figure that out. And I was one of the ones I was very fortunate to. So some of the things I talked about was resources. I wanted peer support and I wasn't able to get it readily. So I created my own peer group. But that said, peer support is huge, where you're going through something and you don't want to share with everybody, but having people go through it with you helps you and it helps them. Hope and optimism is not a medical term, but every doctor in this hospital will tell you, and they told me it helps.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
We hear it from every single doctor that sits in that chair.
Exactly. So I can only imagine people who are not as outgoing as I am or direct as I am, want to help educate people who are sitting there dealing with it, scared, not knowing what to do and know who to trust to get information from, who to talk to. Peer support was a big focus. So we ended up creating a platform called the Kidney Wellness Hub, which is done through the Kidney Foundation, has its own website online, and you have access to peer support, caretaker support, you have cooking classes on there for renal diets, you have counseling, you have everything you think of.
Amazing.
In this hub now that everybody has access to now.
That's awesome.
So that's one thing where I'm very proud that we had the ability to do that. When I was dialyzing as well, Interior Health asked me to join the renal steering committee as a patient partner, because I was a very outspoken patient who wanted to make a change. And they said, well, you can hang out with all the nephrologists and Interior Health from all the Okanagan region and help them figure things out.
You were like, okay.
Yeah. So that was a really humbling experience, but it was such an impact. And I got to not only know all the specialists in the region, but share my insights as a patient that maybe sometimes they just don't get to deal with all the time because they're managing thousands of them at a time. And so helping them understand that was a big thing I was very proud of as well too. Yeah. So I want to make change. I want to have impact, and I'm not scared to ask for opportunities to do that.
Yeah.
And it's worked out really well. So.
You're such a great spokesperson, advocate. You are just charming and likable and very articulate, and those qualities are unique. Not everybody has a voice that they're comfortable sharing. And so I don't want to minimize even just the fact that, like, I have to give props to Arden, because she was like, we need to get Patrick on the podcast for Kidney Health Awareness Month. I was like, yes, we do.
Thank you, Arden.
Yeah. And we've never really had the opportunity to chat about your whole journey with kidney disease. But it's such a gift that you're giving to the community to not just talk about your own experience, but the advocacy work that you're doing to make it better for those who are sort of coming up behind you and maybe facing this really devastating disease, and to offer those little points of inflection of hope and optimism, and that, you know what, hey, look at me, we can do this. You know. So you're also a board member for you've been are you officially like off the board now? Is that like the thing? No. Denial. I'm still in that mode. Well, you were on the board for what? How long was it? 7 years?
6 years, I think.
6 years. Yeah. And just, again, a huge champion. One of the how our mission is distinct perhaps from a specialty mission such as like the one that you were involved with, the Kidney Foundation of Canada, is that we're really focused on bringing world-class healthcare close to home. So it's a very local mission. Why do you think community philanthropy is so important, and how you now have firsthand experience? How do you think it's helping advance care for patients in our region?
It's helping greatly. So I can only reflect on my story. When I first started dialyzing, you were sitting in a chair for 4 or 5 hours. You used to have a TV. That's a whole other conversation. But I always came prepared with my own laptops. I brought books to read and everything. So the time passed fine, and you knew you were doing it for a bigger reason, so you don't complain about it. But yeah, these questions are very impactful. I'm sorry if I get a little emotional about this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Repeat the question.
You just take your time.
I just lost track of that one just now.
It's okay. I just was asking about how the community philanthropy helps advance care for patients in our region.
Yeah, so it does. So there's a couple examples I can refer to. So, more recently, and I thank the foundation for this. I know the foundation's been really important and focusing on kidney care lately and patient care. So thank you very much for that. Even little things when you're sitting in a chair for 5 hours, whether you're a senior or a young person, it gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, and it's been proven medically in other clinics that if you start moving your legs, start doing some activity, even when you're sitting there, it can prevent cramping, keep the blood flowing. So, the KGH Foundation, we've been experimenting with bicycle pedals for a couple of years, better chairs for people sitting in those chairs, which is great. And more recently, we're getting into the future. Now we have VR headsets now and everything. So that's a perfect example where local philanthropy and a need that's expressed by Interior Health comes across the KGH Foundation's table and is actually improving patient care. But patient care in kidneys can be also having enough hot blankets available in hemodialysis, right? So chairs, bicycle pedals, VR, those are huge things that improve the quality of life for those dialyzing, and someone there for 4 or 5 hours at a time. And it actually shows that it helps with the philanthropy, it helps with the dialysis as well too.
Totally.
So those things. And, I was fortunate enough to be able to recognize when I was dialyzing that we had a lack of equipment to help efficient dialysis runs. And so I was able to donate a piece of medical equipment to the hemodialysis unit with the help of my friend Misha at the time.
Yes.
And we were able to donate a portable ultrasound unit that helps people when you're needling these crazy big arms with scar tissue. The needling position, if it's perfect, can lead to a very good dialysis run. If they're off by any chance, or angled or hitting the skin, it can cause more complications and problems. So we had one old unit for like 20 patients at a time. So what can I do to help? Well, we have only one ultrasound unit. And so I was like, we figured out how much it costs. I was able to donate one, and this had a great impact, not just for dialysis, but other people in the hospital to needle properly as well. So community donations and philanthropy can definitely add value to patient care.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
And I guess I also just want to like underscore that you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk. You are a donor. You've been a donor to our KGH Foundation. I know Kidney Foundation as well. Very generous time, talent, and treasure. So you are like the perfect donor for sure, Patrick. So I just kind of want to. Is there any question that I didn't ask you that you feel like you want to share? I tried to cover as much as I could with this, but like, again, I'm a little bit ignorant in the subject area. So is there anything like you've got the mic that you would just want to share with the community?
I mean, most people ask me when you're living with kidney disease or you're dialyzing or post-transplant, pre-transplant, are you able to work regularly? Can you travel?
Yeah.
You know, what's your day-to-day life like? I couldn't travel outside of Canada as long as I was dialyzing, because for me to go on vacation anywhere, knowing I still had to dialyze 3 times a week to stay alive, it's a very expensive venture. I even researched it. Some places it's $5,000 to dialyze for 15 hours a week when you're on vacation for a week or two. You might as well wait till you're done.
Yeah.
Right? And so the costs are expensive and they're not covered by healthcare or group benefits, because this is a very particular specific treatment. And you're doing it in a foreign country, have fun with that.
Right.
So traveling can be limited. If you're on dialysis, of course. If you're post-transplant, great. You feel better. You don't have to dialyze anymore. You can eat stuff again. The problem is when I got my transplant in 2019, even a doctor said, the world's open to you. You can live life and travel. COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go anywhere for years after that. So it's just one of those things where it's a small price to pay for well-being. And if you're getting treatments, you focus on that more so than anything
Can you
else.
travel now though?
Like, I can travel anytime I want to. I don't have to dialyze anymore.
No. And is the blood pressure an issue?
I take a handful of medications every day.
Okay.
Blood pressure is one of them, a small amount.
Yeah.
I take anti-rejection medication every morning, and a bunch of other medications that want me to manage my blood levels and make sure I'm healthy as well. And those are responsibilities you take every day, twice a day as well too.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain days where you're still going to be more tired and fatigued and stuff like that, but that's also based on your diet, exercise, and lifestyle.
Yeah, like we all have that. Yeah.
Yeah. We all go through that kind of stuff too.
I don't want to say like, oh, you know, us poor normal people have that too, but you know what I mean? Like, I think like, I just think it's so remarkable where you come from and where you are. The
post-transplant life is a whole other world, and that's when you can fully understand and appreciate what you went through for 3 years to get to this point. And I'll be honest, my first year of dialyzing, and the nephrologist and team will tell you, Patrick struggled the first year, not because it's just the lifestyle change, the diet, the liquids, and then the more liquid and bad stuff you take in, the harsher treatments can be. So it's a real struggle. When I finally clicked and understood it, then it was way better. And honestly, as soon as I took my diet and lifestyle seriously while getting treatments, within that next year, I got put on the list right away.
Oh, good.
So it's a matter of us accepting and doing what we need to do, as whatever the nephrologist tell you to do, please do it.
Yeah. Don't
think you can get away with not doing it, because you're prolonging your access to getting a transplant, which will lead to a completely different lifestyle for you as well.
And the transplant is life-changing.
Life-changing.
Yeah. Amazing. How has this experience changed your outlook on life?
1,000% as well. I mean, going into it, I had that light bulb click in when I was already going through the process. But once you're done it, everything kind of just summarizes in your head. So like the KGH Foundation work was not just about kidneys. It was about what's happening in the hospital, because I saw everything as a patient.
Yeah.
The kidney stuff is totally separate. That's a whole other mandate. But my outlook on life is different. My priorities in life are a lot different. Health being the top of that list now, but before it wasn't the top of the list.
Yeah.
Because without health, you can have everything in life you want, but if you don't have your health, it's not going to do you any good. It's not.
I agree. This is why you
can have all the money in the world.
Wealthy podcast.
You can have all the money in the world, and it's not to go overseas to get treatments and surgeries, but that's a whole other ball game entirely.
Yeah.
You're still dealing with it.
It's funny because health is one of those areas that, you know, when everything is going great, you don't even think about it, right? But then as soon as it's compromised, it's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everything else comes into like complete focus. Right. And I appreciate, you know, it does change your outlook on life, right? Like you get one chance, folks.
Yep.
Right. So optimize.
Yep. And one of the biggest challenges I still see is, unfortunately, we can't do kidney transplants in the Okanagan.
Yeah.
They're still prominently done down in Vancouver with St. Paul's and VGH, which is fine. I mean, they have the expert knowledge. They have the surgeons there, technology, which is great. And I'm very grateful to live in BC to be able to do that instead of traveling to other parts of the country to do so. But that's having access to advanced care at home is really important. So, you know, our renal clinic here does an amazing job of that. So shout out to all the nephrologists, all the practitioners, all the post-transplant team at KGH. You saved my life and I owe you for that. And they continue to do that really well. And having access here is huge because not just Kelowna, but people in external regions of our interior health capture have to come to Kelowna for this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Totally.
So it's important to have relevant representation and experts here for sure.
Well, when we launch our campaign to bring kidney transplant surgery to KGH, you can be the chair of that.
I'll be down with that.
I don't know when that's going to happen, but we're putting it out there. Never say never. As we, you know, are timing this podcast very intentionally around Kidney Health Awareness Month, what message do you want people listening today to take away?
Listen to your body. If you don't have a personal physician, get one as soon as possible. I know it's difficult here, but try to find a family doctor. If you're feeling off and you know it's not normal, you're not sure about it, you know, look into it. Don't wait. Start checking yourself, making sure you are healthy as possible. And don't be scared to accept something you can't control, but be optimistic and do what you need to do to get through it. You know, awareness and early detection is the only thing you can think about.
Yeah.
Every level of this whole situation. My only regret is not being more aware and addressing it earlier. But because of what I went through, hopefully most of you will never have to go through that. So please check in with your doctors, listen to your body, and make sure you're making steps to address them and not let them go too long before it becomes a worse scenario for you in the long run.
It's great advice. Okay, last question.
Uh-oh.
I know, not uh-oh. We did so good. Such an important conversation to be having, Patrick. So you touched on this, and you being the like securities advisor that you are, you understand wealth, right? Okay, when we talk about wealth, we always think of it first in terms of like financial wealth, but on the Wealthy podcast we think health is wealth. And you know, there are many aspects to health and what makes us healthy. Is obviously being free of disease or injury is one thing, the physical aspects of it, but there are all sorts of other things, you know, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, community. What areas of your life do you feel that you are wealthy?
Every area nowadays.
Oh.
And I'm not lying. I mean, this whole process has really redefined who I am, how I look at my life, what's important in my life. And it's never going to change after this. And so, sure, financial wealth is important. We all need to live on something. We all need to survive in this economy, as difficult as it is, and the world's changing rapidly. But not having your health at the optimal level, it can really push you back by years, decades, even end your life sooner than you want it to be. And that's not just the impact on your life, it's those around you. You know, like your family, your friends, your children, your grandchildren, your loved ones, the community you support. If you're not around to do that, then you're missing out.
And you could have all the money in the world, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I mean, when you face a situation or roadblock like I did, which was literally mortality, which is the biggest one we're all scared about, it changes a person, especially if you get through it and you have a different perspective on life and you have a second chance. You can't waste it, and you got to do the best you can to make the most of it. And for me, it's living a healthy life, engaging with my friends and family more, doing things in life I didn't do before, giving back and being an advocate for whatever I can do that I believe in, and just giving the best advice to people I can, and sleeping well at night, which is also for your health as well too.
And also sleep.
Yes, sleep is very important.
Like, literally, I feel like everybody says that, I'm so grateful for all of these things, and also sleep. Yeah. Patrick, on behalf of this community, those who are navigating kidney disease, those that have successfully had transplants, those who don't even know that they will be diagnosed yet, but will be better off because of people like you who are working really hard to spin the narrative around your own diagnosis into something that is positive, into something that is optimistic, and that translates into real impact for people navigating the same journey as you did. We are just so grateful for you. I mean, I was grateful for you already just because, like, you're a good guy. You're just a good guy. Your energy is great. You've contributed so much to the board of directors. And I'm going to say this because I can. You're so creative. Like the portfolio that you managed for the KGH Foundation, you really took that on. And you were always so creative. Your approach to sort of strategy around legacy fundraising and planning for leaving a legacy, which is where you contributed significantly to our organization. It's just like so refreshing.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you got to enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
And I was able to work with some amazing people.
Yeah.
It's not just me. This organization is a good team of individuals, and we had the right team, the right people, and it just worked out well for me. And so I'm always grateful for the opportunity to work with you and all of your colleagues, even Arden, especially Arden. And you made my opportunity to give back and explore this part of my life a reality.
Yeah.
So as much as you're thanking me, I do it to thank you guys back in return.
Well, the feelings are definitely mutual. And I know that even though your time on the board has ended, I don't think this is the last we've seen of Patrick.
How many
Ing.
times have you mentioned that now in this podcast? This is Kidney Awareness Month.
I know. But I don't think this is the last that we have seen of Patrick Ing, and I don't think this is the last that the community has seen of you either. You are just so busy. You've got all sorts of good things. What's fun going on for you? I'm going to ask this. I'm wrapping up, but I also know that you're very proud of the work that you're doing with the YMCA and Third Space. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to chat about that.
I ate all the hot wings. I get a camera here, and here now. Okay. Busy. Yeah. I mean, I love what I do professionally, so I'm always engaged in that. YMCA was a pretty natural progression for me after I left the board of KGH Foundation, because there's a lot of KGH Foundation members or former staff there. So when they approached me, it was a no-brainer. Yeah. But I also got peer pressured by Manic.
Thanks, Manic.
Yeah, thanks, Manic. Yep. He called me from Paris saying, why are we still talking about this? So I joined the board. I met Ali, and Tammy was there as well. Great group of individuals. I love the organization. Different level of community that can help out. Yeah. Right. And Third Space, one thing we didn't touch on, obviously, was my mental health during the whole diagnosis, and it went off a cliff.
Yeah.
And so first time my generation experienced that. My generation didn't focus on mental health at all. Mm-hmm. So it became a priority for me to figure out, why am I feeling this way? What can I do? And other people feel this too. So getting involved with Third Space, which is a organization that raises funds to train counselors for youth. And we put them out in the world prepared afterwards. And by doing so, we're able to offer access to free or pay what you can counseling for young adults. Has had a huge impact on the most impacted group in our society right now. And to be able to prepare them with these resilience techniques and understanding of their mental health, whether through stress or health concerns, it just kind of follows along the lines of what I'm trying to do to help well-being overall. And I've been honored to be able to be president and chair that organization and just volunteer my time wherever I can. So I'm having fun. That's the key.
I love that.
Right. So
yeah. If you can have fun and give back to the community, it's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Thank you.
Just been an honor to hear your story.
The honor's mine, and thank you for having me, and congratulations on the podcast. I don't miss too many episodes.
But you definitely won't miss this one.
I won't, but wishing you guys all the best going forward in your future episodes as well too.
Well, thank you so much.